Welcome to Knitting Keeps Me Sane. I am Dr. Say Knitter on Ravelry and Instagram, and Shelly to everybody else. So I finally finished my last Christmas knit, so I thought I would just jump on and show you what that looks like. So just to give you the deets on it, it is the it is the 11s sweater. I knit the size 2T, and it is from the Cottage Garden Volume 2 by Lisa Shamari. So cute. Okay, so it's knitting Cascade 220 and in chocolate brown, and I put wood buttons on it. And I finally got it done because I've had like no knitting time, despite my husband being on, some vacation time over Christmas. Yes, babe.
I finished cleaning off the table.
All right, thank you, sweetie. Why don't you go help keep Angus happy?
Okay.
Thank you. So despite my husband sort of having some vacation time, my knitting time was non-existent. So I had more help with the children, but less knitting time somehow. I think that's just how Christmas is and whatever work. You end up, doing stuff with people. I don't know what that's about, but here you go. The 11s sweater. So you can see it's a chocolatey brown. I've got these adorable wooden buttons. There. Oh, can you see? Okay. From Buttons Boutique in Germany. And so there are these elbow patches, faux elbow patches. And it has a shawl collar, which is just adorable. And then these pockets, both in the sort of like the double moss stitch, where you have 2 rows of knit on knit and purl on purl, rather than the knit on purl and purl on knit. So it's more like, that's like the British moss stitch, I think. But it's not what we would normally consider like the moss stitch in the US. This is more like a double moss, what we would call a double moss. And it is just too freakishly adorably cute. So I knit the size 2T for him because he's growing so fast, and he's already in like a size 12 to 18 month here at 8 months old. So it'll be a little big on him, but he'll be able to wear it on top of maybe like 2 layers of clothes, so that when we take him outside, so that when we take him outside, he can be totally warm. And of course, we have a coat for him too, but we'll keep him nice and warm. So I finished that yesterday, which is a lot later than I had hoped, but finished it. So, and it's really adorable. It is not washed and blocked. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because he's just going to start wearing it right away. So when he gets something on it, I'll wash it and then block it, and I'll take probably proper finished photos then. But I really like this. It is adorable. It was really kind of fiddly, honestly, because of the pocket. So you knit the panel, you put the stitches on hold for the pocket, for the back part, and then you keep knitting with doing the double moss stitch pocket front, and then you come back after you finish the body to knit the back, and then you seam it up, and that makes a really solid pocket, and I really liked that. But it was still kind of fiddly because you're sewing, and I hate sewing, but I didn't really when I grafted them, I used just a mattress stitch, which is really easy, and so it was no trouble to do. It was just a lot of non-knitting finishing to do on it, which I typically if I wanted to sew, I would get fabric, cut it, and then use my machine. But I know. I have to be in the mood for these sorts of things, and I wasn't really in the mood for little extra finishing touches like that. Although I was when I first cast on the pattern, and I was when I was closer to the deadline of when I wanted it done. So, not wanting to do those extra touches and finishing is probably just my impatience of wanting to be done. And, my, in general, hesitance to do a lot of non-knitting finishing. So, because I like the knitting. I like the knitting of the stitches, and when I'm done, I like to just be able to very quickly thereafter be done. But, Alright, so other things that I'm working on, I cast on a pair of socks, and I'll probably show you those later if I have time later today to do that. So I may just, I don't know, submit this. I'm just sort of talking to hear myself speak at this point. All right, bye. Okay, so welcome back again to Knitting Keeps Me Sane. Part 2. So I've had a bit of a stash enhancement, and so I thought I'd show off my stash of 2021 stash enhancements. So first, I wanted to show you, this is from Must Stash Yarn. I love her. So you know what's coming up. Self-striping, right? So this is the there it is, Mordor Fun Run. And look at those colors. Look at how just brilliant that is. So again, the Lord of the Rings nerdy, theme going on here. So this, I have 2 skeins, and the whole reason I had to have these skeins. You ready for this book? Oh, yes. Yes. Look at this. So this is Knit Happy with Self-Striping Yarn by Stephanie Lotvin, and I love her patterns. I've test knit some for things, and her patterns are really well written, and she puts a lot of thought into how she says something, where in the pattern she puts certain instructions, and she's just a really good designer, really very considerate, very logical, while also very intuitive. So she's a really good balance between just sort of easy readability and being complete in describing what you do as much as possible, because like some designers are just too verbose, or they don't explain enough, and she really does an excellent job of being clear enough, but also not over talking about it, and therefore confusing you more. The pattern that I need to knit for myself, of course, I think 2021 is going to be the year of selfish knits. I have knit all the things for everybody else, and I will still knit for other people, obviously. I mean, I'm not going to become a totally different person, but I think I need to knit a little more for me. So along those lines, Mordor Fun Run in this pattern. I shall show you. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Okay. You see what that is? You see? You see it that this? You see this? You see this? Fantastic. I need this sweater. It's called Bright Axis Tee, and I just absolutely love it. And she had another picture here, so you can see a little more detail of the top. It's got a nice boat neck, and it's just gorgeous. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and I absolutely cannot wait to knit this up. The problem is that I haven't picked out the right contrasting solid color to go for the bottom here. And I kind of want to do gray, but on the other hand, like, I don't really want to just totally copy. So I don't know, I have to decide, and so that is going to be on there. And there are some other things in here. There was where was it? So I've done a sock arms sweater before. Where is the sock arms cardigan? I could just look at the index and go to the page, right? That's a novel idea. All right, so 129. So I have done this one right here in the pullover version. So here is her here's her cardigan version, and I did the pullover version. I test knit that one, and I used black for the body and rainbow, like a Roy G. Biv, rainbow. Love it. It's fantastic. And then she also has, here's another version of that, very size inclusive, and that looks so good on a heavier woman, but also looks so good on, a more slender silhouette. So it's just a good classic sweater and cardigan. Now there's the children's version, and I had test knit the fingering weight pullover version, and my daughter, my middle daughter, she wore it out. She loved it. It was pink, fabulous. It was perfect for her. She loved it, and she's pretty unhappy. She's outgrown it now, and so she's asked for another one. So I need to knit her another one. Maybe I should just do the cardigan version. Sounds good. Another thing that I want to knit for her, well, not for her, probably for the baby. Where is it? 7 is the Showered in Rainbows baby sweater. There it is. Just look at that construction. So, let me see another photo of it. Here. Let's do this one. Look at that. Just awesome. So I test knit that one for her as well, and I used scraps, sock scraps, and it was so cute. It was so cute. So I am absolutely going to make another one in a larger size for the baby, and I think that might be my go-to baby sweater for gifts as well, because that's amazing. So I absolutely love this book, and I love her patterns in general. So if you don't already know Stephanie Lotvin, Telly Bean Knits, go check her out. Awesome patterns. Awesome. And she is so sweet and so friendly and very responsive if you try to contact her. Love her. So go and check her out. She's awesome. Check out her book. Okay, so the other the other stash enhancement. There had been a sale from a dyer that I had never bought yarn from before. You know what's coming. You know. I bought some yarn. Just a couple skeins. Yeah, just a couple. So Nora George yarns. I have seen some on like Dunder Knits one year had an advent calendar from Nora George. Loved the colors. Loved. And so I started stalking Nora George, but I had never bought any, and I just she had an end of year sale. So and I bought some bases I don't usually knit in just because that's all they had of that colorway, and I thought, well, okay, fine, it's not like bulky or anything. I prefer knitting with fingering weight, but she had some DK. This is Peacock, and I love it. The sort of greeny blues here, sort of coming out a little more blue than green, but yeah, love it. So this is on her DK 100% superwash merino base, and I just love this. And I love this bit of sort of a bluish purple in there. It's just gorgeous. So one skein of that. And then so I had seen this on, where had I seen this? I think where I saw this colorway on, I think it was on a sock base, Amy Florence podcast, Stranded Dye Works, and she was talking about this one. And so when I saw that there was a skein available on the end of year on the DK, I had to buy it because I had seen this and fell in love with it, and I just it was meant to be. It was meant to be. It was on sale. There was only one. It was waiting for me. So I brought it home. I don't know what I'm going to make out of this, but it's gorgeous. I just, right? Look at that buttery yellow. And these colors are pretty true on here. I'm so happy with that the lighting is showing off the yarn so well right now. Just gorgeous. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm thinking probably a cowl. Yeah, probably a cowl. The other DK weight, and then that was again her 100% superwash merino DK 100 grams, 225 meters. Okay, and this one is apple picking, which kind of looks a little bit like the a Regency Christmas that I just put up. So that was a Regency Christmas. This is apple picking. It's got a very similar creamy yellow base with speckling, only instead of rich reds and burgundies, which you've got some of the red, but then you've got green and sort of a black, sort of a purpley black, really. So this is just beautiful. So I'm not really sure. I'm debating whether they need to be cowls or heavier weight socks for the fall, and I'm just not sure. I'm thinking I won't decide till I cast it on. Okay. Now, there were two sock weights gains. Right up my alley, right? So, seasonal harvest on Simple Sock, which is a 75-25 superwash nylon, 100 grams, 400 meters. This is it's just very vintagey looking, and it's just lovely, just lovely. I really think this would just make an absolutely gorgeous pair of socks. So, but I'm not sure what pattern. Something not too heavily patterned, maybe something more of a texture, maybe. I don't know. If you have any suggestions, leave a comment below. But you can see that there's sort of this burgundy, purpley burgundy, and then you've got more of a sort of an orange, flamey color in there, and then sort of an ecru-y tan cream color in there, and it's just very rich, very rich, very and yeah, very vintage. It reminds me of like an old Christmas card where they've got the old town, you know, those pictures, those paintings, and I can't remember who made them. I just remember I think getting them as a child from my grandmother. That's what that reminds me of. It was like this. Anyway. All right, last one, and this is a little unusual for me. I don't usually go for pinks, but it's more of a peachy pink, which I tend to like more. And it's called Golden Rose. Again, the super sock. Oh, right? Right? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Right here. This is all that. This is just gorgeous. Just absolutely love it. This side is blown out a bit, but this side is pretty true. I just can't get enough. Look at that. And I love the speckles on here, that it just, you know, you've just got that little bit of splash of color in there. So, no ideas. It was an end of year sale, and I caved. I'm trying to be good. My goal this year is to not buy any yarn. None. Knit from stash. And we'll see how long that lasts. So now that I have got, I can't completely do that, can I? Because I've got the Mordor Fun Run right here, and I don't have a solid to contrast it with. Maybe I might have a gray. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. I'll have to get creative. But if I don't have the right yarn to do this, I will not. I'll make that one exception for a purchase this year. But I'm trying not to buy any yarn at all. But if I have to make this sweater, then I will. But beyond that, I won't. I might. If I buy anything, it'll be to make that sweater the solid portion. But other than that, no buying this year. I have stash down there, beyond life expectancy. So we're just going to challenge that a little bit, see if I can knit some of it up and not be beyond my life expectancy. So that was my stash enhancement, and so there we go. I forgot one thing. My daughter keeps telling me I have to say this in order to be a proper podcast. So here we go. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. There you go, babe. Is it a real podcast now? Love you.